right, so we are moving into our next module where we're going to be talking about algebraic expressions. So I just wanted to provide you with a quick intro into the module so that you understand what it is that we're expected to learn in this module. We're going to talk about our essential question, key vocabulary terms, and then also how it will help us out in the real world. So to start off, what we're going to be learning in this module is we're going to be talking about algebraic expressions. So remember, if we're talking about algebraic expressions, that means that there is a variable or more, one or more variables that will be included in the expressions that we're going to be looking at. And so what we will be doing is we're going to simplify those expressions. We're going to do that by combining like terms. We're going to talk about the distributive property and how we can use those to expand our linear expressions. And then we'll also be able to add, subtract, simplify linear expressions. And then in the end, we're going to figure out if algebraic expressions are equivalent to another one. So we'll be looking at that at the end of this module. So one of the questions that I want you to think about as we work through this module is, why is it beneficial for us to rewrite expressions in different forms? So what's the purpose? Why are we doing that? So hopefully by the end of this module, you'll be able to answer this question, and you should be able to apply your knowledge as well by the time that we're finished with this. So our key vocabulary words throughout this module is going to be coefficient. And when we talk about a coefficient, that is a number that is going to be multiplied by a variable. So for example, the 3 and 3x is going to be considered the coefficient. We'll have also a constant, and a constant is a number in an expression that does not have a variable. So if we have an expression 3x plus 5, 5 is the constant. There's no variable attached to it. We'll talk about equivalent expressions. So those are expressions that have the same value. So for example, if I have 2x's, I add 3x. So in terms of like terms, that is terms that have the same variables. They're going to be raised to the same power. And so an example would be 4x and 7x. Okay, both of them have the same variable. So remember when we talked about those bins, we can put those into the same category. Our linear expression is going to be an expression where the variable's exponent is going to be 1. Okay, so a linear expression is, for example, 3x plus 2. So the x is raised to the first power. We don't have any second or third powers or anything beyond that. So the most important thing is for us to remember that if we have a variable, the exponent is only 1. Okay. Then we have our simplest form. Simplest form means we're taking an expression and we're going to fully simplify that. So for example, 6x plus 2 is going to be a simplified version of 3x plus 2. So this is not in simplified form. So we would go over here and simplify it. That becomes 6x plus 2. And then finally, term. So a term is a single number. It can be a variable or it could be a product, meaning that we're multiplying numbers and variables. Okay, so for example, we have 3x plus 2. And remember, they're separated by addition or subtraction. Okay, so this is one term, 3x. 2 is also a term. So we have two terms within this expression. All right, so why does this matter? Well, algebraic expressions are tools that we're going to use in real life. So we can use this when we talk about budgeting, if we're talking about planning. If you're solving problems, you're definitely going to want to know how to simplify and transform expressions so that you can make sense of situations that might otherwise seem complex or challenging. So a couple examples that we have is that a contractor might combine the cost to estimate a project. A chef, they might adjust a recipe by expanding ingredient amounts. And then a scientist might use this information for them to model real world problems. And so they may rewrite them so that they can reveal different insights that they found out by modeling those real world phenomena that they're looking at. So when you're able to rewrite expressions in different forms, what it does is it provides you with flexibility in your problem solving skills. And that's going to definitely help you to work more efficient. So remember, I want you to work smarter and not harder. But it will also allow you to see some other creative solutions that might exist. So let's go ahead and get started. Make sure that you take notes. And of course, remember that you can always pause, slow down, or whatever you need so that you can make sure that you understand the material. So let's go ahead and get started.